Hey everybody, I'm going to be working on some traditional primitive fletching for some arrows I'm making, and today I'm just working on preparing some of these feathers. And recently, traveling in Arizona, we spotted a hawk that was roadkill in the desert, and I got these beautiful hawk feathers from it, and I was really happy because I've been looking for a long time for something to complement the goose feathers that are pretty easy to find around here in Sacramento, California. Now the reason I wanted the hawk feathers with the goose feathers is so that I could have two fletchings of one color or pattern and then one fletching of a different pattern that will show you where or how to nock the arrow on the bow. Kind of like this one I made. You see there's two with white stripes and one with orange stripes, and that shows you how to nock the arrow on the bow. So first thing after collecting the feathers is splitting them. So with this goose feather, you got to get a nice sharp knife and get down in there, split it down the middle without managing to mess up the base of the feather or the fletching that's going to be. Okay, so I got the split, and now you see that every half of a feather curves one way or the other. All three fletchings on an arrow have to curve the same way. So I have these other two I already prepared. The hawk feather curves like that, and the other goose feather curves like that. So all three curve in the same direction. Okay, I'm using one that I already made as a model. And this one that I just split should work out. I'm just a little concerned that it's too skinny at the back end, but we'll see how this works. I think before to take a little off here. Use the other one as a measuring device. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I'm just sort of roughing out the shape of this fletching, and one of the main tasks at this point is to scrape off the bottom, all the white stuff and the kind of shell that's around it, to have this bottom part just be very skinny, very narrow, just a little strip, as light as small as possible before you put it on the arrow. And to help with that, I made this little contraption, just two sticks that have been flattened out, bound together by some natural cordage, and slide this in here. And it sort of allows you to hold onto the feather without damaging it too much as you cut and scrape this down. The back end is so small already that it doesn't really need hardly any work. And I know some expert voyeurs get that down just to a sliver. I'm a little cautious about going too low on this part because in the past I've cut it in half or sliced off a section of it that I wasn't supposed to. So that's getting pretty close. Oops. Alright, now I'm just going to do the same to these two. Okay, so just finishing up these fletchings and the hawk feather fletching using my little pincer tool to hold it. Like I said, some people are really good at getting those strips really small, really thin, and I'm still learning on that. If you have any suggestions or ideas, leave it in the comments below. But this little pincer tool does help a lot, so I recommend that if you're working on something like this. One thing I've learned about these feathers is the hawk feathers are really soft and light compared to the goose feathers for the most part. Oh shoot. Oh, there goes that one. That was exactly what I was talking about. I'm not careful, I just split it. Dang it. Now I'm gonna have to throw this one away, I guess, and start another one. Okay, so I have another hawk feather I'm going to use for this set of fletching. And as you can see, I'm using metal tools, modern metal tools for this work. And I'm going to post another video sometime just about my general approach to primitive skills and crafts. For me, I know some people are pure primitive and they only use handmade stone tools to do all the work that they do. I admire that and I think it's great, but that's just not where I'm at right now. I don't usually use power tools, but I do use, metal tools for the primitive crafts and stuff that I do, making bows and all. Someday maybe I'll get to the pure primitive level. Okay, so all right, split it in two, and this bottom section maybe can be used for fletching as well, especially if you do it in the style like what I've seen Ishii's arrows. They have really long fletching that with not very much height. That would work for. Fletchings I'm doing now are a little bit more triangular and not too long. Okay, so now I got that hawk half of a feather ready to go for trimming. Okay, finished up the fletchings. We got two dark gray ones from the goose feathers and one striped one from the hawk feather.